Hi, welcome to InsideTracks.co.uk, the video channel that tries to help you trade smarter, shares experience on Betfair trading. Today, we're going to look at stopping losses. As the footballers say, if you don't let any goals, you can't lose. The best way in Betfair trading to make a profit is to make sure you don't lose too much when you are on a losing trade. So it's very easy to hope that a trade's going to come right, and it's very easy to stick with the position too long. Often what happens is that that's exactly what people do. They stick with a position too long, hoping that it's going to come right. And when they actually realize that that position isn't going to come right, it's too late and the big loss is made, and it's very difficult to make up big losses. So you suddenly start chasing losses, and that leaves you vulnerable to even further losses. So we're going to look at ways in which we can stop losses. I do several things to try and help with this. We have a website where you can sign up for free newsletter. In that free newsletter, we offer you hints and tips on straight bets if you want to do that, or ways in which you can trade different horses and what the angle is on them. And if you look at those, you can see opportunities not only to make money, but also the strategy to stop losses. So let me go into that in a bit more detail. So here's the newsletter that I sent out last night to those people who signed up. And in this particular newsletter, we give you a nap of the day, pocket the profit. Actually, that has already, I know that's one. We give you a back to lay or a couple. El Astronaute and Twilight Secret. I know that Twilight Secret is a non-runner today, but we'll go into El Astronaute in a minute. And Kate Moss, we know that that was a lay of the day that actually has lost. And then Mark Azai, which we are giving you as a bit of a long shot, which you can do either sort of a place bet on, or you can look at it and think of ways in which your trading strategy will work okay with it. We've also given you a couple of others in here to look at, infrared, and a couple of others at Kempton that you might want to look at. And it's a very interesting day today, actually, because Will Buick and Oisin Murphy are currently fighting out the Jockeys Championship, with Will Buick coming back very strongly. Having been quite a long way behind Oisin Murphy a few weeks ago. He's now, I think, only 7 behind, and he's got a good book of rides this afternoon at Wolverhampton, and he's already put one in with Pocket the Profit. So that's very nice, and brings, I think, the lead back down to 6. So here's the newsletter. Gives you a bit of insight into why I would and wouldn't go for a particular horse. Now, I'm going to concentrate on El Astronaute because I do like a back to lay. And El Astronaute, my wording is a fantastic horse and one I'd love to own. I'd love to own El Astronaute. Brilliant horse. Really, really gutsy, as I said. Fantastically quick out the stalls. He runs well even when finishing last. He does. He loves the game. Been running in better class races than this, and likes the ground. He's been course and distance second twice, as you can see here. So it means he handles the track as well. And he's dropped down quite a lot from his highest rating of 110 when he actually won a listed race, and he's now 100. So he's a back to lay for me. And I'm hoping he wins because I really like him. So that's what I say about the horse. Now, clearly, El Astronaute, and anybody who's following my newsletter and has followed it, has delivered on Dobbs and on back to lays consistently. And in fact, if you look at his record, 8 out of 10 times, 8 out of the last 10 races, he's either won or he's dobbed. He's actually a double a bus, so he's double my money. So he's fantastic. I remember backing him at Chester, back to laying him at Chester, and he was so fast out the stalls that he was already 5 lengths in front of the rest before they'd even thought about coming out the stalls. And that day, instead of cashing out, I cancelled my cash out bet, and he won me a very decent amount of money. So El Astronaute, you know, you can see why I like him. So let me just show you the race. But what I'm going to say to you now is, in a back to lay, the strategy here is that El Astronaute is fantastically quick out the stalls, isn't it? So, and as I just said to you, at Chester, what I'm looking for is then El Astronaute to come flying out the stalls, be in the lead, snatch maybe 2 or 3 lengths at the start from the other horses, because he's that quick out the stalls and that quick into his stride, and then play a bit of catch me if you can. And when they come to him in the final furlong, he will give it his best shot. And if that best shot's not good enough, well, he's still giving you a very nice back to lay. But if it is good enough, sometimes what I do is I will cash out mistake and let the remaining profit run on El Astronaute. So I have several strategies, but basically it's all based on this horse being fantastically quick out the stalls, and being in the lead, because that's where he likes to be, and that's why he's gutsy, because he doesn't like other horses getting past him. So let's look at the race now, and you'll see what the stop loss is. So we're now at the race, and we're at the start of the race, and there he is, El Astronaute in stall 5. And if you can see there, just above Jason Hart's head is the headgear or blindfold that he had on, sort of headgear, blindfold. So he's had a blindfold on to keep him quiet in the stalls, and so he gets away quickly. Now let's see what happens in the first furlong, or the first bit of the race. So we can see he's stumbled out the stalls, gone right down on his right-hand fore, and he's come out quite fast, obviously faster than most of them, but he's got this fella who has come out quicker, and now El Astronaute is second. Well, that's not following the strategy. The strategy is that El Astronaute gets out in front, gets that rail, gets 2 or 3 lengths lead, and plays catch me if you can. So in this situation, basically, he hasn't done what the strategy says. So right now in this race, after only about a furlong or a slightly more than the furlong, you can see that this race is not going to strategy. It's not going to the way we expect it to, and it's not. Therefore, what's going to happen? Well, El Astronaute is not in front. He's not going to like that. He likes to be in front. He likes to keep other horses behind him. Lots of horses in that situation kind of sulk, don't give the running. So we can kind of expect him either to sulk. We can expect him to try and overtake that horse and build a lead. But if the other jockey has got any sense whatsoever, he won't let that happen now. He's not going to give him a lead now that he's not got a lead. So El Astronaute is going to have to really push to get past and to build that lead. So he's going to have to use up an awful lot of energy trying to get past that horse, and then try and stay there. That's probably not going to happen. It's possible it's not going to happen. Or El Astronaute is going to have to sit there and act and run in a way he's not used to doing, which is sitting there on another horse's haunches, allowing them to lead him, and then coming at him in the final furlong. Well, now you're asking a horse to run in a way that it doesn't want or doesn't like to. And again, that's very unlikely. So now all the odds are against you. Now all the odds are stacked against what we originally thought was going to happen. We originally thought that El Astronaute is going to get out, get 2 or 3, maybe 4 lengths lead, push on from this point, 3 furlongs out, and say, catch me if you can. And he's going to be gutsy and not want other horses to come past him. That was our strategy, but it hasn't happened. And now what we're expecting in order to get this bet away and get this bet to Dob is that Al Astronaut is going to run in a way that he's never run before and doesn't like running. Well, we must be daft then to be keeping our money on. We must be absolutely lunatic not to cash out. In fact, probably not to cash out a furlong before this. When we realised, we suddenly saw that he was a good 3/4 of a length down on the horse in green and yellow. So what we should have been doing is cashing out as soon as we saw him stumbling out the stalls and not leading by 2 or 3 lengths. Then that's when we should have cashed out. And you would have said, well, gosh, you're cashing out very early. How on earth can you cash out, after half a furlong? Aren't you wasting your money? Aren't you actually being terrible? Well, actually, if I had cashed out then, basically I would have lost nothing. I'd have probably been got my money away and got my money back. I'd have probably got my stake back. If anything, I might have lost, I don't know, 10% of my stake, probably at that point. At the furlong pole, the first furlong pole, I might have lost 15% of my stake. But later on in the race, coming out of here and going towards the 2 or 1 furlong pole, I can guarantee you I lost 95% of my stake, and I would have very little chance of getting anything back at all. So I would prefer to lose 5 to 10% of my stake 10 times and be right 8 times and be wrong 2 times than to lose my stake once, a full stake once, because I'm hoping that it's going to come right. So it won't surprise you, and I won't go into it, but it won't surprise you that El Astronaute actually did not win and came a distant 4th and sulked basically from about the 2 furlongs out, didn't pick up, and was okay. I mean, if it was my horse, I'd just say he couldn't give his running and didn't give his running. And so I in this situation, you stop the loss, you take a 5 to 10% loss, you've seen that your strategy isn't working, and therefore you live to fight another day with 90% of your stake, and hopefully 100% your stake if you can get out without losing anything. 100% of your stake. In fact, I don't know how they exactly bet, because I wasn't on Betfair at the time when this race went off. So I don't know exactly how the odds went, but I think you could have got out with 100% your stake, and if you're very lucky, maybe even a very, very small drop in his price after the first furlong, because he was up there with the other one. So you would have got away, I think, with your stake back, or a very small loss, or a very, very small gain. Okay, so that's really gives you a little bit of an explanation as to a strategy, knowing exactly what your strategy is, and going with it. And I'll just give you another example. So we'll look at now Albigon. I've looked at this horse several times, and nice horse from Tim Easterby's stable. He's in very good form, 2 wins and a second in the last 3 races, and actually only been effectively raised £3 higher for that form, which is not a lot. That's perfectly reasonable. So he should run it again well, because there's very, very little reason to think he wouldn't. However, I'm quite a big person on jockeys. Lots of people say jockeys don't make a difference. That's a load of complete twaddle. You can clearly see, if you look at a list of jockeys, those that can make a difference and those who can't. And you do that by looking at the expected rate of return. Now, a decent jockey will add, I think, 3 lengths to a horse against a jockey that isn't good. So, of course, if you have a average jockey on a horse that's 5 lengths ahead of another, then of course the decent jockey will only make up 3 of those 5 lengths and will lose by 2 lengths. Clear. However, what you find is that a horse will be ridden by one jockey one day. So David Allen, for instance, has been riding I'll Be Gone, and he's won twice and come second once. I'm not sure he's on all 3 times actually, but yeah, he was certainly on 2 of those. Now, Duran Fentiman, I'm not a fan of. He's the number 3 jockey at Tim Easterby's yard, and I'm really not a fan. And you can tell actually when you, I mean, it's not rocket science. Let's just do that for you. I'm going to just go now and look at Tim Easterby's stats, and we'll see what the jockeys do. Hold on a sec. Here we are on Tim Easterby's page, and we'll have a look at the jockeys. So we have David Allen, 459 rides, 68 winners, 90 places, and he has a 14.8% strike rate. Duran Fentiman, 324, 26 winners at 8.02. Ella Mackenzie, 125, 17 and 13.6. So you see that actually, if you really wanted to at a pound level stake, Ella Mackenzie is the one that you want to be backing. If you want to make sure that your horse has got a good strike rate, then you want David Allen on board. And the last person you really want on board for a low strike rate and not a good return on a pound stake is Duran Fentiman. So that's what I wrote in my newsletter. And here we see only downside is I'm not a fan of the jockey, which I'm not. I would very much prefer to see David Allen on board. And so what we see then is that I've given a caveat to this. I want to see a good ride from the jockey. So now we're going to have a quick look at the race. So there's the horse in stall 3, and I'm just going to run it, and you'll see what I mean. So we see the horse stuck in the stalls, rearing up and coming out, and is virtually last already. He's out in stall 3, so he's got to get across, or he's going to be left wide. He's not going to get across. Well, he doesn't look as if he's getting across. Let's just see whether he does. So we'll see whether he gets across or not. Is he coming across? No, I don't get that. Why is he not pulling him across? Why is he staying on the outside there? I don't get it. He's sitting, he's giving him a bump. He's on the outside now, running wide. This makes no sense to me, and it's not a good ride, and that's why I'm not a fan. And so I'm, if I was on this particular I'll Be Gone, I like the horse. I think the horse is a good horse. I think it should be in a better position already from where it is. If he's gonna jump at the start, then bring him behind and go up on the inside. Don't keep him wide because he's got no cover. He wants cover, and so this is just it's a disaster, and you just want to get out. And so again, this is another race where you say I'm going to lose probably more than 10 or 15% of my money, but I prefer to lose 25% of my money than have this horse and hope that he's going to come good in the end. Because if we go down towards the end of the race, we'll see that I'll Be Gone is way back. way back in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at least 6th or 7th. Really not where he should be. He should be up there challenging. He had the form and the weight to be there challenging. So not very impressed, and they'll certainly be getting out and stopping my loss as soon as I see that horse rear up and not taken to the back. So there's 2 examples of ways in which you go into a race with a strategy. I probably shouldn't have tipped I'll Be Gone, because I had a horrible feeling that the jockey was not right, and I shouldn't really be tipping something where I'm not confident in the jockey. I didn't mention it, but it's not really good enough to say that and then complain about it losing. But I suppose where I was going in with my eyes open, thinking that the jockey was not going to make the sort of effect he did, and that the horse was good enough. I'm not a great fan of that theory. So more fool me and my bad. But basically, if you do see that, then watch out. Watch the beginning of the race. If everything's going to plan, then I suppose it's a point and shoot, and any jockey could get a horse home, and any jockeys. Every jockey does have a winner, because they can't actually get it wrong. The horse is good enough. But where you are worried about the jockey, you probably I shouldn't be tipping them anyway. And so that was one thing. So stop the losses if you're going in there with a worry and you see it being transformed into reality. The other one is to know the horse, and with Al Astronauti, we gave that example. You know the horse, you've watched it run many occasions. You know what it should do if it's going to give you what you want. And as soon as you see that isn't happening, so in his case, he didn't get out quickly, he didn't get a couple of lengths start, he wasn't in the lead. Get out as soon as you can and at the best possible price you can, and take a small loss. And don't hope it's going to get better, and don't hope that your horse, by the way, is going to run anything differently than it has in the past. So if it's a horse that likes to lead and it's not leading, then don't, for God's sakes, expect it to suddenly run a different style and come good, because that very rarely happens. It does not impossible, but very rarely happens. Equally, a horse that likes to be held up and not exposed and only produced at the last minute because it's one of those horses that gets lonely in front and needs to be in the middle of a race to run properly. We've even known horses that as soon as they get in the lead, they pull themselves up because they think they've done the job. So there are some horses out there completely opposite. They need to be hidden away, put to sleep, and produced last minute so that they don't go, oh, I've done my job, I'm going to stop racing now, because believe you me, I've seen them happen. The seconditis horse, where he gets to the front and he goes, that's fine, thanks very much, done my job, and he stops racing and he can continually come second. So there are horses that will run in a certain way, and don't expect them to run in a different way, because then they won't give their full running, they won't give their full form, and they probably won't give you a winning trade or bet. Okay, if you like this video, please like and subscribe. Do go to the website, which is insidetracks.co.uk, and sign up for the free newsletter. Free newsletter is free, so you can do what the hell you like with it. You can ignore it. You can use it as part of your preparation. You can have it confirm what you think, or you can take it as gospel. It's normally giving most people a bit of a profit, but it certainly tells you what I think and what I'm expecting, so that you can then take on board things that I've said today, like if it's not going to plan, stop your loss, and then when you do make a profit, that profit is going to be yours and not drifting off into big losses for different horses. Okay, best of luck. See you on the next one. Bye.